What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. The video today is going to be a discussion video, and the topic is, should a true physical media collector keep everything? Now, I was inspired by a comment that was made. That was pretty much the exact comment underneath one of my videos a few months ago when I was preparing for my bull moose trip. Of course, I always purge out my collection before I go so I can trade in items. Movies I know I will never watch again. And underneath, I believe it was the Bye Bye Blu-ray video, someone made the actual comment, a true collector keeps everything. So when I saw that comment, I put it in the back of my mind and I said to myself, that would make a great future video discussion topic. So here we are. That is what we are discussing today. Now, before I talk about my personal opinion about this topic, I do want to say that I am not here to offend anyone. If you are the type of collector that chooses to keep everything, that is your right and that is your choice. I completely understand. I am only expressing my personal point of view about this topic. So before I get into my thoughts, I do want to address the phrase true collector, because this is something that I have talked about before, and I don't like the phrase. Because what is a true collector? It doesn't really matter to me if you've been collecting for the past 40 years or you just started 5 minutes ago. It doesn't matter if you have 10,000 movies in your collection or you just ran into Walmart and you bought every DVD off the shelf to get your collection started. It doesn't matter. We are all collectors. If you are even thinking about collecting, you are a collector. So the phrase true collector, I've never been a fan of, and I just think we should just get rid of it because it just doesn't really apply. I just don't like it. Do you agree with me? Comment down below if you agree with me or not. But let's get to the discussion at hand. Should a physical media collector keep everything? And I think you guys know my answer to this question. No. Absolutely not. I do not believe physical media collectors should keep everything for three main reasons: mental health, space, and also time. So let's break this down and talk about each one individually. Mental health being the first. If you have an extremely large collection, it's going to put a strain on your mental health. Now, that may seem a little bit ridiculous to some people, but honestly, I can tell you it is a true fact. My collection is not as big as other physical media collectors' collections. I mean, some physical media collectors really do have between 5,000 to 10,000 movies. And honestly, kudos to you guys if you have every single one of those in your collection still. I do not know how you do it. It just seems like it is a lot. It is overwhelming. You literally have movies everywhere. And I think something that I'm not really sure if anyone in the community has ever really addressed this topic. It's not really a topic, but it is something that all of us physical media collectors have to do, and that is dust our collections. I am constantly cleaning and dusting my physical media collection because you have to. Everything gets dusty, and that can be overwhelming. I do not know how people do it with 10,000 movies. It just seems like a lot of work, and it would be stressful. And that's where it comes into mental health territory, because I do not want to be stressed out over my physical media collection. I want to enjoy my collection. I want to have fun with it. And when I say fun with it, moving things around, rotating items, that's always fun to create something new. I don't ever want to see my physical media collection become like baggage, like it's a chore, it's something that I have to take care of. Like that's when it just becomes too much personally for me. So, mental health. You might have a strain on your mental health if you are keeping everything. If not, kudos to you. Not me. I would not be able to do it. Now, the next reason, of course, is space. We are not meant to house 5 to 10,000 movies in our homes. Like that's just not realistic. In particular for me, because I just have this room. I do not even have an entire house to fill with physical media. So yes, I've had to get a little bit creative with how I store things. I do have, my shelves outside my bedroom door right there. I have shelves out there. I have my shelves in the corner. I may have my father build more shelves to go across from me, but I'm trying the best that I can. And then I turned my closet that I did have, my purses on the shelves all lined up. The purses went, and that became the physical media closet. And I'm having to get a little bit creative with that because things are starting to stack up. I receive items in the mail from studios all the time. So I'm getting all of these movies in my collection. I have to start rotating around, and space is becoming an issue for me. And I don't nearly have as many movies as some other people out there. So space is always going to be an issue when you keep everything. Like putting movies in totes and lining them up, you can't enjoy your movies that way, in my opinion. So space is always going to be that issue. And the third issue is time. And what I mean by time is that this time is kind of like a two-parter. So part one with time is that as we age and as we grow older, if you've kept everything you've had in your collection since you were 5 or 10 years old, are you really going to enjoy something that you watched when you were 5 when you are now 30, 40, 50, or even 60 years old? The answer is probably not, with a few exceptions. I am big on nostalgia, especially because I'm an 80s and 90s kid, and that was just prime time for movies, let's be honest. But I can understand the nostalgia factor. Many of us out there are suckers for nostalgia. We love movies or TV shows back during those time periods where we grew up in. It's very understandable, but not everything. At least not for me. Not everything. There are a few items in my collection that are nostalgia that I could never get rid of when I was like 5 to 10 years old. Mickey's Christmas Carol. I love it. I absolutely love it. I watch it every single Christmas. It's only about 20 minutes long, but that means something to me. I remember watching that when I was a very, very young girl, and that was pretty much my first exposure to A Christmas Carol, the entire story. And so it will always mean something to me. That is something I could never, ever, ever get rid of. Also, The Brave Little Toaster. I gotta keep it. I have it on DVD. I have to keep it. I will never, ever get rid of that. So some items are understandable, but every single thing from childhood, I would not be able to keep at all whatsoever. It would just be too much. And then also, kind of like part two of the time, is that nowadays, with time, we are limited with our time. We have obligations, work, family, friends, kids, any other type of obligation that you have. We have very, very limited time nowadays. It's very stressful nowadays. We have physical media stress, and then we have world stress on top of it. We're stressing out. But we have very limited time. If you kept every single movie in your collection since you were 5 or 10 years old, do you really think you are going to get around to watching all of those movies all over again in your lifetime? The answer is probably not. So you're simply, or I should say, I would, this is myself. So I would be key if I did that, if I kept every single movie, I would be keeping all of these films just sitting on a shelf or in a box or in a plastic container somewhere on the chance that I might watch that movie again. And I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it these days because, as I've mentioned before, as I have evolved, especially this past year with everything that I've been going through, I don't believe in keeping things that we don't need anymore. I'm kind of just getting to that point where when we're getting older with physical media collecting, you got to curate. It's time to curate the collection. And by curating, my definition, I guess, I mean by structuring your physical media collection to what you really watch. The one-time watches, the movies you know that you're never going to watch again, the movies you absolutely hated, they can go. They can go. I don't need to keep those around. And that's why those are the movies that I choose to trade in. If I watch something and it does not click with me, I'm going to trade it in. And that's fine. That is okay. Someone else can find the movie and they can enjoy it. But I'm not going to keep something that I'm not the biggest fan of. Not anymore. I want movies in my collection that I absolutely love and adore. I know I will watch them during the year, during holiday season or during summertime, those blockbuster franchises, even though a lot of them aren't as great. But you know what? They're a lot of fun to watch. I am going to keep those. But there are movies that I know I don't need anymore, and that is fine. Letting go of physical media is okay. In my opinion, it's okay. I don't think you have to keep absolutely everything. But again, if you choose to do so, that is your choice, obviously. But I think personally for me, letting go is the best decision. So that was just my little touchstone, my thoughts and my opinions about that little comment that was made. And I'm interested to see where you guys fall with this discussion. As a physical media collector, do you choose to keep everything, or are you a purger? Let's say a binger and a purger. Do you binge watch your movies and purge your collection? What's your choice? I know that sounded kind of weird, binging and purging, but it was in the movie sense. You guys get it. Where do you fall? Where do you fall in this discussion? Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.